Thank God. Yeah, have her text her or whatever, tell her to come back on. Oh.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to do this with a straight face. It's been a while since I've been with these guys, and it's been an interesting time. So we are back in the studio at Disruption Network in Utica, New York, just digging this wonderful winter weather. This is going to be our third attempt to try this one specific episode on Creepy Kids. This is the third freaking time. And then when we came here tonight, we had tech difficulties. So it's coming quite obvious to me that some creepy little kids don't want us talking about their creepy little kids. But you know what? Our producer, Todd, saved the day. If he had any hair on his head, he was going to be losing some of it, but he made it. And so we are here, and we are back. So just give you a couple updates. Thank you for joining us. Go Buffalo Bills. For those of you probably not even watching tonight because you're watching a Bill game, I completely understand. So, anywho, we got a special guest for you tonight, and then we are going to try to talk about creepy kids. And what are you doing?
Volume. Somebody's volume's up.
You're supposed to ignore him.
It's his volume. Okay. I thought I was getting yelled at. I'm like, damn, I've been here in a month and I'm already getting yelled at, and he's pointing a light at my face here. Thank you, Todd.
Sorry.
Appreciate that.
Sorry.
So tonight we're going to talk about creepy kids. We're going to have some evidence we're going to review for you, just so you know we're not just making this all up, that there really are some creepy kids out there. But before we go there, we're going to bring a guest on. And let me tell you a little bit about our guest first before we introduce her and put her on the air. She owns a place called Alabaster Ash up in the Remsen area. And we did an event there back, God, when was it?
November.
200 years ago.
That seems like it was like 8 months ago.
It's been
You know what I mean?
85 years.
The holidays just extend everything. So we did an event there. We did a lecture. We did a ghost hunt. We had a huge portal session, Pete did. And our guests were just going crazy for that thing. They all, like, I'm walking around like, where is everyone? They're in the front living room with Pete in this portal, and they're all just sitting around there mesmerized by the answers that are coming out of that thing. So, but it was really kind of cool because, first of all, anytime we get to investigate anywheres in this COVID area is a great thing. But to go to a place that's got an actual, like, metaphysical shop attached to it, I mean, it's like bring your wallet, bring your purse. People were there spending some serious money, and she has a lot of great stuff. So let's bring her on. So let's bring on Daniee Weaver, the proprietor of Alabaster Ash. Danie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I didn't know if I was supposed to be dancing to that music. I almost did, but
we would have been watching. We would have been watching and
I figured.
probably laughing. But I mean, that's just the mood that we're in tonight. So
To be fair,
Yeah,
Pete
I did.
was busting a move, so.
yeah, you didn't see Pete doing his Snoop Dogg dance here.
I've
It's
busted
interesting.
many things today.
He's a picture that his wife took of him on the ground after he fell. So
That's how you know she's loving. Don't get up. Let me take a picture.
we were debating we should put that on the show.
Go ahead.
It's kind of cruel. So we're not
The
going to do
answer is
that.
always yes. Always yes.
Like it's going to bother me.
You would blend in. You would blend in well with us. So, anyways, we got another event coming up on the 28th at your place, and
Yeah.
it's pretty much almost sold out now. And
Yeah, it's pretty much sold out, but I would be fine with a few more very selective guests if they wanted to join us.
ooh, very selective.
Very
guests.
select.
So if you'd like to join us, send in your headshot.
Yes. Your
Only if you're
headshot.
cool. If you're not cool, don't bother.
Yeah, you have to have at least 100,000 followers on Instagram to be in this selected crowd. So tell us a little bit about what's going to happen tonight, because I know in addition to us doing the lecture and the ghost hunt, you're going to do some other stuff too as well, like let people go into the shop and let them shop around and look at the stuff.
Yeah. It's really, really fun because this specific event is a great opportunity to come, especially if you've never been here or if you have and want a little discount. We usually do the first half hour, we give a special discount to the people who are here. And then we do the awesome presentation. And then we explore the house. And I'm really excited. We have a few people that are, they literally are still talking about it from November. So I'm excited to see what pops up this time around.
Yeah, they were a great crowd, and thank you so much. As we roamed around your house, aimlessly touching things and admiring your wonderful decor. 'Cause the house you're an amazing decorator. You and your husband done some amazing work in there.
House is beautiful, yeah.
It really captures that whole old mansion essence that we love as paranormal investigators, the historical presence of it. Meanwhile, we're kind of we're all walking around, and if it was me, I would have been a little anxious. I'm gonna bite my nail. Don't touch that. Don't go over in there. Don't get near that. That's valuable. And she's just sitting there playing on her phone and just making sure that we do her
I'm just trying to
thing.
avoid all the rooms because I really try not to get too involved because I have to live here. You know what I mean? I don't want to know too much. You're probably in the living room playing on my phone or eating pizza because I'm I don't want to know. Don't tell me about it. I'm I have to go to sleep tonight.
Well, we as paranormal investigators rate every event that we do based on the food. So
There you
we have a Google sheet in Google Drive where all the events, investigations, we rate it by the quality of food. So so the pizza that you did provide that night was excellent. So thank you.
Perfect. Very good. You're gonna have it again.
Good. We enjoyed it.
It had a working toilet, which is always important for me. So. Nothing to do with the food, but that's just
There was cold soda and beverages. There was pizza, and there's a working toilet. That's what we need as paranormal investigators doing an event.
There was chocolate cake too, right?
Chocolate cake? Oh, I didn't see the chocolate cake.
Okay. Maybe I wasn't supposed to go in that cupboard. I'm sorry.
I said happy birthday, Danie. You went in the...
Sorry.
Well, we'll
I'll
just
bring another one. I'm sorry.
we'll just apologize up front for Pete. So we'll just lay it out there right now and apologize for Pete. So tell us about the shop a little bit, because you got a lot of really cool stuff in there. And a lot of it's metaphysical related and kind of like right on the line of that paranormal theme. So,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it really started when I had some people die, and I really started to kind of dive into that, wanting to make a connection. And I realized that, the metaphysical world in general, there's so many different avenues you can go down. They're like rabbit holes. So you just got to start somewhere. And I happen to start with crystal healing. And I found that it really, really helped me. And I thought, if it's helping me kind of get through this really difficult time and kind of understand things more, then it might help other people. So that's kind of where it started, and it kind of blew up from there. Now, in addition to like the paranormal events that we've been doing with you guys, we also have the event space upstairs that we've been doing readings with mediums. We're doing yoga, meditation. We have a few retreats coming. We have kind of all kinds of things in the works. And then during the summertime, we're actually thinking about doing some nighttime ritual stuff too. So it's going to be really, really fun. I'm excited to see kind of where it goes.
yeah, you're doing kind of a lot there. You're really working it. I mean, I like the idea that you've got the retail portion, but then you're also doing like the readings. I saw that room you had set up for the tarot readings.
Absolutely.
Have you considered doing Reiki and stuff like that as well?
We actually had our first Reiki sessions, was it last weekend, and they went great.
Oh.
So we're going to be having our person come in probably in March doing another one. The biggest thing for me is trying to find really high quality people to do these classes and workshops and sessions.
Sure.
So I got a lot of things kind of in the works. Now it's just all about putting it together. So the biggest thing for me is just being able to offer a variety of different things to everyone, because everyone's going to, gravitate to something different. So I'm excited about it.
Very cool.
Yeah. So as paranormal investigators, what kind of cool stuff do you have in your store that we could use?
It's really funny because I was thinking about you guys when I did my last book order, and I have this book coming, and it's something to do with like first starting out as like an investigator. And I'm really curious to see what it's all about. But I'm like, I have to have this book in my store because I have you guys here all the time, and I just really am interested in kind of diving into that whole aspect. So that's something I'm really excited about. It's the books.
Well, we're not very book smart. We're more street smart, if anything. We basically.
I'm interested to see what you guys think about it too. Being people that do it all the time. So.
Oh, absolutely. There's some great books out there for reference for paranormal investigators. If you read a whole book and you pick up one little thing that you didn't think about doing and you try, it's just another little piece in your tool bag, that you can try. Absolutely. You can do an investigation. And I think a lot of us learn from each other because we have a mixture of like seasoned investigators and, one's green behind the ears. And we've been kind of.
Spankies.
Yeah, grand spankies like newbie, like Travis over there was a newbie, came in our group. Now, last night we did an investigation in Herkimer. I show up in my little bag, and some of the other investigators show up with their little bag. Here comes Travis with like a one of those red wagons with pelican cases and everything in there. We had to carry it up, and they airlifted it and dropped it in the historical society. And it's like, yeah, so he
wears a tactical vest with everything attached to it.
Well, you never know what you're going to encounter at these places,
I couldn't tell if he's going fly fishing or investigating.
Anybody need double A's?
He's got smoke bombs that have sage in it attached to them that he could just throw it like a grenade.
That brings up an interesting question, because as a paranormal investigators, people always ask us, like, I'm going to sage my house. How do I sage my house? And we've always, kind of stood out of that. Like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So as someone who sells sage and who probably understands the practice of it a little bit more than us, what tips can you give people on saging?
So I always give people the very basic information because obviously it can go far beyond, it's a tradition that is, being very German isn't necessarily mine. So I'm just really telling people what the very basics are of smoke cleansing. I would say get your sage, if your intention is there, light it until it's smoldering, walk around, get all the corners, obviously crack your window so your fire things don't go off like crazy because they will. I've done it. And the biggest thing that you have to make sure of is that your intention is set right. You want to walk around, you want to say in your head, say it out loud. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to clear out negative spirits? Are you just trying to do a general kind of new beginning cleanse? That's the biggest thing is always your intention because you want to make sure it's positive because if your intentions are negative, really with any of the stuff, that's what you're going to get back. So that's the biggest thing. Obviously do your research though. There's so much great information online now that, Google, thank you, Google. There's just so much to learn.
Gotcha. Crystals is the other thing that I think that you also are involved in too as well. And some of our people in this group understand a little more. I've never really gotten into it that much, but what kind of tips or advice do you have on crystals?
Man, okay. The biggest thing that people ask when they come in here is, can you tell me what crystal is good for anxiety or what crystal is good for this or that? And honestly, I could give you an entire list of crystals that are supposedly going to promote a certain thing. However, I always tell people, walk over to that wall, look, touch, feel, figure out what your body is gravitating to because that's what you need. No matter what that card says over there, that's what you need. And usually what will happen is they'll pick one up, they'll read the card after the fact, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need right now. It's pretty crazy how it works out, but that's the biggest thing I can tell people is when choosing your crystals, go with your gut first, always, really for anything.
I did that at your shop, and it brought me right over to the rock candy pops.
It's exactly what you needed.
And she's got candy in there too. Sage, candy, crystals. I mean, what other stuff? And you got some Wiccan stuff in there too, right? Some books and stuff like that.
I carry things on Wicca. I carry things on just general witchcraft because it's, it's different. You don't have to be Wiccan to actually do witchcraft. I even have kids books. Kids. Speaking of kids, since we're talking about that this episode. My 6-year-old is kind of on the creepy side, which I love, and I love fostering that. So I have kids books in here that are a little bit about fairies or about haunted houses or about witches, just keep it kind of magical because kids in general are magical and it kind of grows out of them as they get older. And I'm really trying to foster that all the time.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Baby's first Necronomicon.
If it's not written, we will.
So what do you keep for hours so our listeners can know?
Sure. So we're open Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 7 and then Saturdays from 11 to 4. Those are our main regular hours. Sometimes that changes because I have
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Googling at first. I always update Google and I'll usually put it on my Facebook too.
Yeah, thank you for the update on Google. I cannot tell you how many times during this pandemic I've looked on Google to check for hours, and I've gone there, and they're closed. And it kind of irritates the crap out of me. Like, oh, sorry, we haven't updated it. Then just take it off of there. If you're not going to update it, just take it off. You know what I mean?
It's mine super updated because I know everyone thinks Remsen is so far away. We're only 20 minutes from Utica and Rome. But I know it's a little bit of a drive. So I would hate for someone to waste their time. So I always say Google it just in case, or even call me just to check. So
there you go. Absolutely. Now they can find you on Facebook. That's kind of where we follow you on. You also have a website too as well.
Yep.
Okay.
There's Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on TikTok, but I'm horrible at it. Just a warning. And you can also find most of our stuff at alabasterash.com.
Okay.
And our events are also listed there now, too.
Yeah, so we have an event coming up, again, on the 28th, which is just about sold out. And I think it is pretty much technically almost sold out. But she's opening up for a couple select more people to squeeze them in there.
If you're listening now, I'll allow it.
Okay.
So if there's any celebrities.
Well, yeah. I mean, why not? We need to get a para-celebrity up there into that place to do an event for you.
That'd be awesome.
You know what I mean? Well, we'll work on
Totally
that.
down.
So one more, we can actually even go outside and investigate too, because I think you have some interesting places outdoors as well, which may not be too fun this time of year. So, so we'll basically. But it's so cool. You come up on the shop and like all the candles are lit in the window and stuff. It's just kind of like a cool historic place, and that's the vibe you're going for, you know. And it's really cool. So we like it. So we'll be seeing you on the 28th, and
Awesome.
you know, if you want tickets, go to Alabaster Ash on Facebook, and there's an event page, or go to the Agent Paranormal page and click on there if you want to get some tickets. And for some reason it's not letting you buy them, just reach out to Danie and she'll take care of it. And she's the one who's orchestrating, producing, and overseeing the event. So hey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll let you go watch.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, we'll let you go watch the Buffalo Bills game if you're a football fan.
Yay. I gotta go stock on my pizza for Friday. So
Oh, there you go. And chocolate cake too.
Well, if
All
you
right,
go,
chocolate cake. Don't worry.
All right.
if you go outside, I know there's candy in there now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So candy, yes, we love candy. So,
All right,
thanks,
cool.
Danie. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
We'll see you in a few
Thank you,
days.
guys. See you later.
All right. Bye.
Actually, it wasn't chocolate cake. I remember it now. It was granola bars upstairs.
No.
Not chocolate cake.
That's a
It was granola
huge
bar-
jump from granola bar to chocolate cake.
Okay, now we're talking like lemonade and vodka or something. We're the two different ends of the spectrum here. So,
It all comes out the same, man.
yeah. No, Danie's great. She used to come to our events. That's where she kind of knew about us. And she was friends with another Nikki, name was. And Nikki said, why don't you reach out to the Agent Paranormal guys?
She was with Landmark Society for a little bit too.
Yeah, she was also with Landmark.
She was
That's
with
right.
The Rutgers.
Yeah, good point. So she's been doing the paranormal thing for a while. More is like going to the events, and I think more than like taking up investigating and buying gear and going out and doing her own exploration. But that could change. Maybe it will influence her to go that direction. So the power's still on. We still got internet connection.
I'm terrified over this next part.
We're all alive. So we're gonna jump in the creepy kids.
Bring it.
It's too late now, so whoever's trying to mess with us, it's too late, man. We're there. We mentioned it. We made it that far. So, so in addition to creepy kids, we want to talk about the creepy kids, the evidence that we've got in investigations. But Kevin also wanted to talk about the black-eyed children as
I
well.
love black-eyed children.
So, and that's kind of more your research. So, why don't you kick us off? Tell us a little bit about that.
Black-eyed children. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on previous episodes. I think we actually did an episode on it. But black-eyed children is actually, it's like more of a new thing. It's fairly recent. The first like recorded event was only like 1980. Before that, there's like nothing. And basically what it is either somebody is in a vehicle and they're usually always alone, or they're at their house and they're approached by, it's always two children. The children are always one older, usually around probably no more than 12 years old. The second one is about 3-4 years younger. So it's a really innocent age for both of them. And they're always asking for some kind of help. So they knock on the door and they say, we'd like to come into your house and we'd like to use your phone. And it's always, they're never making direct eye contact. They're always kind of like looking down at the ground and just kind of shuffling around saying, I need to use the phone to call my parents. And another bit of information that is across the board with all of these events is the kids are always wearing clothes that are about 20 years old. So in the 80s, the kids that they saw were wearing clothes from the 60s. And now there's more recent events in the late, 2020s or 2010s, and they're wearing clothes from the 90s. So what usually happens is they say, we want to come into your house, or we want you to give us a ride. We need to get somewhere, or we need to call somebody to come and help us.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's either somebody says, no, I can't help you. And then the older one would be the first one to look at them and their eyes are completely blacked out. So the iris, the white of the eye, all black, and say, we need to use your phone, or we need to come in your house. There was one reported where the person let them in their house, and basically once they did, this is just real creepy, is the older one walked past them towards where their phone would be, and the youngest one would start walking up the stairs. Like, not say anything after that, just walk in and start going like they knew exactly where they were going in the home. And when they did that, the homeowner turned around, and the oldest one was standing right behind them, looking directly at them with the black eyes, and said, "We're coming for your soul." So that was one reported event. It's not really...
What's that noise?
Who?
Sounds like a portal opened behind us.
Oh, it's the furnace, probably.
That was good timing. I'm like,
It's not really sure what they are. They're not sure if they're spirits. They're not sure if they're the big D word, demons. And they're not sure if there might be extraterrestrial.
So other than kind of scaring the homeowner by the eyes and by their actions, have they ever done anything to...
There's never actually been an attack. It's only been reports. There's never actually even been evidence of them. Nothing's been captured. Even with security cameras, there's never been security camera footage of these kids.
do they disappear?
Yeah.
Or do they leave the
basically,
house?
that one
like,
event where he said, "We've come for your soul," the homeowner turned and booked it out the door and went next door to a neighbor's house, called 911 and said that there's 2 kids in my house and they were going to attack me. And when police got there and they went and they checked the house, her front door was wide open and there was nothing wrong with the house. So it was just like she just opened up the door, ran out, left the door open, and went to her neighbor's house, and that's how they looked at it.
It's weird if something so evil, if it was evil, would ask permission to come into the house. I mean,
It's
like a vampire, right?
Yeah.
You know? And
But
use
that's
the
part
phone.
of the contract.
There was
You have to
another one
invite
in-
them in. Anything demonic, you have to invite them in.
Oh, I see where you're
That's
going with
part
this.
of the contract. That's like, I don't know if not to cut Kevin up.
No.
There's a Twilight Zone episode. I don't know if you ever saw it, where this monastery, they have the devil trapped in this thing, and they're only holding him in the room with a little toothpick in the lock. And he basically taunted, and where he could have went and opened the toothpick and escaped, he couldn't do it. He had to con one of the monks there to actually take that stick out and open the door. Once he opened the door, then he released the devil back into the world, and then World War II happened. But that was the one episode, and the guy spent his life trying to track the devil down again and capture him. But there's an invite needed. That's that belief. But.
Okay. So extraterrestrial's not off the board either, because they've done some things too. They're weird, you know. I mean, abductions and all this other stuff. But why would they say we care to take your soul?
Well, that's the only account where they actually really spoke to him in that aspect. There was another one, I believe, in 1994, in which a guy was approached while sitting in his car by 2 kids wearing clothes from the 70s. And the oldest one said that they needed a ride home because their parents dropped them off at the movie theater and it was raining or something. They couldn't get in the movie theater. And the guy was like, "I'm sorry, I can't let you in the car. If you just go into the movie theater, I'm sure they'll let you use the phone." And from there, they looked directly at the guy, saw the black eyes, and said, "Give us a ride." So the guy's like, "No." And he took off. And he said he drove 4 blocks and went through 3 red lights. And at each red light he went through, those kids were standing on the next corner as he went down.
That's creepy.
So that was teleportation.
Yeah, that's creepy. Creepy kids.
Again, there's not really a lot known about it. It's just a really creepy situation. It's really new. Like I said, the first reports were from the 1980s.
But what's the end game, though? That's, I guess, I mean, the end game, I figured a little bit more out based on what he said, is that you have to invite them in. So they're looking for people to invite them in, you know, like and you said, take their soul. But what's the end game? Because they just disappear and go away, and no one dies or no one is, you know.
Where she actually invited him in, there was no follow up on that report. I mean, there was nothing saying that after that she had, demonic means in her house.
Yeah.
There's just nothing happened ever again.
So forgive me, I forgot her name because of the concussion, but our UFO friend we had on here,
Heidi.
Heidi. Does that fall in with the Slenderman and all of the... Not Slenderman.
It does.
What did she have?
It sounds like...
The Hat Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is she,
Shadow people.
Shadow people,
Shadow
yeah.
people.
I mean, I think that falls more under like the Slender Man, where it's almost more of an urban legend, but it's on that verge of, is it an urban legend or is it...
Creepypasta.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that old, there's a Native American belief. If you believe in something, with your full heart and everything, you can make it actually materialize and become true.
That's part of the thing with Hat Man. Is the same thing. Is they believed that it was almost along the lines of people were talking about it and believing it, and they created them.
Right. Yeah, I remember hearing that. Okay, so it's interesting. It's like I'm between demons and extraterrestrials.
Vicky just added on. She said, any theories on why creepy black-eyed kids are fairly a new concept? And there's not really any reason for it. I mean, it is so new that there's not really anything we can really research on it.
Yeah, I think it started, like you said, in the 80s in Abilene, Texas, I believe, was the first account.
And then Danie saying manifestation is a powerful thing. So
one of the things we have to start being cognizant of in the future is paranormal people, because I follow a lot of the weird stuff, the weird theories. Something's not right with the planet now, and there's a lot of physicists and other people starting to say when they turned CERN on for the first time, it fractured reality. So weird things are starting to happen within the Matrix. Like we've always talked about the Mandela effect, but now I'm seeing that more and more. A lot of people are saying just between the last year and now, they're like, I don't remember it that way. I remember that. I'm not saying the kids are a byproduct of that, but that may have something to do. We're creating some kind of new weird reality where things just don't.
But with you're creating a new reality or a new memory, we just got a message from Evening Sky Bear Spirit Women that said, Black Eyed Kids, have you ever seen Village of the Damned? Mm-hmm. So are we pulling from Hollywood and creating new memories and being like, well, no, this really happened?
Yeah.
So it's really tough now.
I don't want to experience these kids, but I mean, again, until someone actually captures it from I always hate using the scientific perspective, but until someone gets a picture or a real tangible
really,
thing.
The only accounts you can find, I want to say there's no more than 20 or 30 accounts since the 80s. And nobody's reported seeing them more than once.
I mean, in our theme of creepy children, demonic always poses as children to let your guard down. Mm-hmm. People act much differently around children. The solid black eye thing, I mean, that's Hollywood conditioning us. Oh, that has to be something bad. Or it's aliens because they have big black eyes.
It's the corruption of innocence. You're looking at, we view children as innocent, and incapable of sin. And
no,
you never grew up in Rome, did you? No.
But I mean, it's definitely something for paranormal to keep their eye on.
Yeah, but it's so random and so, I guess it's just not something happens like in great volume. You know what I'm saying? It's just random and it's just so low key, and there's just some reports. I mean,
there was a close report close to us. The closest one was Syracuse, and that was actually within the last 15 years.
Oh, okay. Well, I can tell you this: if they knocked on my door, I would not let them in. Okay. I'd like to say I learned a few things being a paranormal investigator. I think, honestly, I'm hoping I would pick up on something, open the door, and they're standing there, and get that old paranormal tuition, like something's wrong here.
Yep.
You know, you're not coming into my house. You know.
Give him the old Cheech and Chong. You can keep a knocking, but you can't come in.
And I swear to God, if a teenage child with black eyes told me I'm going to take your soul, I think I would grab him and throw him right out the door.
Take your soul first.
Yeah. So
Where's your sense of adventure? I'd grab both of them. Candy, get a picture. Put it on Facebook. Hurry up.
what's the matter? You can't get your camera? I fall on the ground and I'm bleeding. That's something you can take a picture of. When I got two black-eyed children, one in each arm, you don't want to take a picture of that.
You're taking me to hell. It's going to be a fight. Come on.
And of course, as you know, that come out, the picture will be just you going like this. Nothing there.
We do have another question from Jack Matt. He said, do you think if you stay with black-eyed children for long enough, they would attack you?
Good question.
It's a great question, and the only thing I could say is go back to, we don't really know.
But they say they're going to take your soul. How can that be a good thing?
They say they want to take your soul, but at the same time, we don't know what it actually is a manifestation of.
Well, sure.
So at the same time, it might be saying, I want to take your soul, and you're like, oh, crap, it's a demon. But it might not be a demon. It might be something completely different.
Well, she ran out the door.
We don't know the strength it actually has.
Right, but she ran out the door as soon as they said that.
Yep.
So that was survival skill. So kudos to that woman because, fight or flee. And we were dealing with something that's got black eyes and tells you taking your soul. I mean, I think fleeing probably would be a good decision. But, yeah, nothing can come good of that. I mean, we won't know because she didn't stay. But what if she did? What if she just said, oh, okay.
I mean, we can only theorize what could have happened.
Right, exactly.
You might never hear about it.
Do it Italian style. Get out the instant coffee and the crumb cake. Come on in. You were sent here. I need to talk to you.
If it was an extraterrestrial, that might have been cases of abduction.
Right.
Where somebody just disappears and they don't come back. It might have been a black-eyed child chase that we don't know about because they just disappeared.
Well, I would have basically said, hold that thought. Came back with a crucifix. Here you go. Grab this. And then ask me that question again.
You had to grab your Apple tracker and throw it in your pocket.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all lies because of the proclamation they're not allowed to take humans. So that's all lies, just so you know.
We're talking about aliens, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The interstellar proclamation, they're not allowed to take humans.
They just borrow them.
It's just a lie that they take people.
And probe them.
And they don't mutilate cattle. That's just weird people running around in farmers' fields doing.
You know what? I would tend to believe that more than UFOs or Bigfoot.
They come here for fast food. They don't go and get.
Oh, come on, Burger King? Are you kidding me?
Come on.
I mean, I have it on their
You
plate.
also got to think about, our enemies wouldn't do that. They wouldn't say, it's written. We can't do this because that would be bad. So we're friends. We're going to have peace, right? 1942? Mm-hmm. What is it? Japan did that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, not everybody plays by the rules.
What alien would not want a taco? I mean, I would travel to another planet for a good taco.
Yeah. Cookbook that says how to serve man,
I'm sure we're tasty. I mean, with someone like me, I'm all fat.
Could you imagine if Pete was home watching TV and that knock came on the door and they were there? I would just want to be sitting with a bowl of popcorn just watching his reaction.
Well, years ago...
Candy! There's someone here for you.
What was that prank show on, like 10 years ago? Where people set their friends up. We were going to do that at the Venue. We're going to have them come stage a UFO abduction.
Yeah, they did all the monster stuff.
Yeah.
We started getting worried because if they'd landed something in his yard and knocked on his door, he'd probably, let me go get my suitcase, man. I'll be right back. We stop at Stewart's. I got to get a pack of marbles, and then we can go.
And then he walks out the door with a suitcase, a Hawaiian shirt, and Mickey Mouse ears on. He's like, I'm ready.
And the producers are like, what the hell?
He could have been an instant star. He would have been a YouTube sensation. An influencer. Had we done that to him. See, we can
influencers.
So in closing of Black Eyed Kids, case still open. We don't know.
All right, so
if there's any listening, reach out to Kevin and Kevin only.
So the lesson learned is that people have seen them. They do weird things, and if they come to your house, don't let them in. And if they ask, they say now, don't let them in. Close the door.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty much. It sounds to me like, and then they just kind of go away. Unless you're driving a car, then they go to the next 3 or 4 lights.
Well, now it makes it a little bit easier. Pretty much everyone's got a Ring doorbell, and they can just talk.
Oh, that ain't creepy. Could you imagine? Who said, oh, my God? They're looking at it, just big black eyes. Yeah.
But see, how would you guys feel? The original Ghostbusters, are the people who got us into this, the movie Ghostbusters, what did they do? They just charged. Get her! Get it!
Yeah, we had ectoplasma guns and stuff like that, it would be one other thing, right?
You got fake finger guns? Bang!
You open the door, just blasted them with plasma.
We got another question asking if they arrived alone. For all the stories and reports, it was just the kids just showed up out of nowhere. They either just approached the vehicle or they knocked on the door or rang the doorbell.
Do you think, though, that, and I say this because I mean no disrespect to Jehovah's Witnesses, but they come to the house and they have children and they push the children up to the front and they say that they introduced the boy or the girl and they want to give you something, you know, and so you're not going to say no to a kid, right? You take the pamphlet and then the child will talk.
I want your soul. I'm going to say
no. But my point here being is that are they puppets and then there's a puppet master? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a demonic thing or something out there that you in the sidewalk saying go to that house, you know, show, you know, like a training thing or something. I mean, breaking them in or something. Or I mean, I just think that there's a deeper motive, that there's something more going on than just that. You know, that they are being guided, if you will, by something more sinister or more powerful.
Who knows? It could be just a projection of whatever.
That time for you to eat?
That was the government
another question
chiming
that came
in.
up is, could they kill with a stare? Since most of these people that reported it said that they saw the black eyes, I would say that that's not the case for that because they reported the eyes.
But they don't show you the eyes at first.
No, they always look down to the ground.
Right, so you
they're
accept them as
protecting
children,
something.
you bring them in, then they throw the eyes on you, you know? It's like Dracula just then showing you the fangs. So it's like they use that as, it's almost like, it's got to be like a fear mechanism or something.
Which falls under another thing for the demonic.
Right. So you just see the eyes, you're like, you know? And they tell you're taking your soul. I mean, there's that too. So, yeah. I mean, bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
They could be time travelers from DARPA. Google it.
So basically, if somebody comes to your door, 2 little kids, and they're wearing old clothes from Salvo or something, then they ask you to come in, use your phone. You can either say no or invite them in and they say, we want your soul, see where it goes from there, and get back to us.
Yeah, I wish I had 2 young kids, like a son and a daughter, that I could, for Halloween, put the black eyes in the people's houses. Trick or treat, we want your soul.
I was going to say, Travis is the one who's equipped. He's got like that grenade launcher on the second floor of his house there. Just fire a Hershey bar at him. We're here for your soul. Have a Hershey bar.
Oh, yeah. No. So, yeah, so that's...
Chocolate bar. No
we need to, like... It'd be cool if we could, like, get some more information on this and do another episode, a little bit deeper dive into it. If there is any more information I'll go into.
Like I said, everything that I've shared with you, I mean, that's not all of the reports, but that's pretty much across the board. And like I said, there's no more than about 20 or 30 known reports.
Well, they're consistent, right? They haven't broke their theme. They're like, they have the same MO each and every time.
Yeah.
So they haven't changed their strategies, so...
I know you want to get moving, but I haven't seen the movie Lost Boys in a long time. But weren't they using little children to lure people into the bigger clan there? Because I remember there being like young children running around with them.
You might be talking about one of the sequels of Lost Boys, in which I never saw it.
There was
Okay,
only one.
you know,
There's only one little kid in the Lost Boy ones, and he was on the milk carton on the back of that. He was going to be. They're going to change him. He was in the process of becoming a vampire / Lost Boy. So,
because I like where your mind was. They're using this as bait,
Yeah.
Who's baiting you in? That's a good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're like puppets, and there's a puppet master someplace to do it. So
We got another question asking if the 20 or 30 in different parts of the world. That all I have found are all the reports are actually in the continental U.S. So I'm not seeing anything else throughout the rest of the world.
that's not to say that there isn't stuff. I mean, just has not been. I mean, cultures are different in other countries. They may frown upon that and not want to report stuff like that.
It very well could be like Sasquatch. No, it's known as Sasquatch. It's known as Bigfoot. In other parts, it's the Yeti. It's a swamp ape. It's like they might have different things that they call it that it's just not showing up when we search it.
Chupacabra
Or they go into the wrong jungle and they just get eaten.
Yeah. We want your soul. Lion
You look
takes them.
delicious.
All right, let's move on to creepy kids or spirits or ghosts.
Well, it's kind of been our experience investigating for so long that a lot of times we pick up a case and they tell us about all these terrifying things that are going on in their house. And to them, it's terrifying because when you live in a house, these things shouldn't happen, right? So they reach out to, strange people like us, and, we go in and try to find some type of answer and ultimately a solution. And sometimes we find out that based on our findings that we believe it's a child spirit. Now, the most infamous one that I've been involved in has definitely been the Hulbert house. Before we started investigating the Hulbert house, someone took a picture in the basement, and some of the people in our old group tore it up and said it's this and that and whatever. Okay, it's just matrixing. When you look at something, you're trying to make it into something, but it looked like a little child in the basement that was taken in the dark. They said, "Oh, it's a hot water tank, this and that, whatever." Okay, to me, it looked like a child. Okay, to back that up, when we went and started investigating there, we started getting evidence of a child. I mean, weird things going on, like the sinks turning on and off, hearing children laugh. And then I think the biggest catalyst was when Pete and I went to the Hulbert house to have a meeting with the owners. We went there because we were setting up an event. And so we went on like an off night, and we met with them, and we're sitting in the restaurant, and she's like, "You guys want some pizza or whatever?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So... And we're sitting there talking, and I remember sitting in the restaurant facing the ballroom. The ballroom was an addition, so it was actually an exterior wall with windows and a door, and then they built an addition off of it, but they kept the windows there. And obviously they took the door out, just an opening. So it was like kind of like looking outside, but it was in another room. And I'm sitting there looking, and I see this perfect black silhouette of a little girl looking through the window. And I'm just sitting there, and I just felt dead silent, and it felt like I was looking at it for 10 minutes. It was probably only like 2 seconds. Then I saw it move, and I saw a black, and it was dark in there too, but this was so dark you could see it in a dark room, moved past the doorway into the next window and was looking in. And I go, "Eileen, are your kids here?" She's like, "No, it's a school night. So there's no kids here." She's like, "No, there's a little girl that's in that ballroom. She just went from one window, walked through the door into the other window, but I can't see her face. It's just complete, just a shape, And then we did an investigation, and we recorded some children laughing, and we recorded 2 investigators recorded that famous EVP got. This says help me. So, yeah, that to me was the most iconic one. Then a few years after, we did an event. We brought in John Zaffis. So we went up to the 3rd floor where we took everybody on the 3rd floor when we did a ghost hunt, because it looked like you went back to the Civil War era. It's like everything was just left untouched, except the skeleton of the dead bird. I think there actually was a skeleton of a bird that was in there.
It was in the sink.
Yeah, it was in the room where, if you saw the episode of Haunted Collector, that was the room where they found the grot up in the rotted part of the plaster and up the corner.
Yep.
Now I'm telling you this. That was rotted when we were investigating it. We looked up in there a lot of times. I didn't see anything in there. But anyways, that was a room where the dolls were and where the door slammed on me. But when we were doing that...
That door did not like you.
No. When we were doing an actual EVP session up there with John Zaffis, and we had the ghost box going, a young girl kept coming through. And she said her name was Me. I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Me. It's me." So we had all these guests, and probably there was maybe
10 to 15 women. They're older women. They had kids. And you could feel the emotion in the room because they were trying to get her to leave. And she said that she's being held there by a male spirit. So they're like, they put all their mom hats on. They're like, go, go. And they're crying and they're cheering her on to leave, to go to the light. And then right towards the end, she goes, I see it. I see the light. And I was looking through the door at this whole thing. I didn't go into the room. And I'll tell you why in a second. And she goes, I see the light. I see it. And then the radio just went dead. And then all of a sudden it came back on quick. She said, bye-bye. And we never came across her again. We went back probably, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Many times.
And we're walking, it's like, this place feels so much like lighter. Like there's that weird, like somebody's looking over your shoulder. Don't feel it anymore, you know? And we never try to contact her to bring her back or anything. We just did our thing. But she was such a powerful thing. And
was the guy named Tom? That's who was holding her there?
Tom was holding her back. But I remember I walked into the room, and all of a sudden the ghost box screeched. And I remember John Zavis looking at me and said, Richie, get out of the room. So I got out of the room, and I'm just peeking around looking in there. And I don't know if I scared her or if she was scared of men or some man heard her before. But that was, that was
She needed the ring of
powerful.
motherness, I guess
Yeah.
you want to call it that. That's what he was
She could
trying to get
feel
in
that.
there. Like,
Yeah. It was pretty wild.
I was the group in the basement. They'd radioed. They're like, get all the women up to the 3rd floor immediately. So I'm breaking the stairs to the 3rd floor, and just as I'm starting to go up, I heard that from the end of the hall. I can see the light, and I'm like, what the hell is Zaphis doing in there? Like,
I know, he's conjuring up.
I don't want to go in there.
You can see you look up, you can see like a giant swirl, and there's, yeah. But I'm telling you, man, he was on his game, and he handled that, and they were actually able to do what we call deliverance, right? Taking a soul and bringing it to the light.
Did you guys ever break that up, the audio? Were you able to clean that up? I know that was
I
rough,
didn't have it. I think Diane had it, and I've been still trying to get it from Diane.
That begs the question. You said they had a bunch of women. I think, especially with younger spirits, it just seems like the motherly energy that women put off, that they're more keyed into women than they are to men most of the time.
Well,
there was a male
Sure.
spirit there, they believe. I think he identified himself as Tom, and they think he was blocking her from crossing over. So
Right.
they needed all those women to make the barrier to keep him from getting to her, and Zaphis did his
somehow
voodoo, whatever he did.
Yeah, it was amazing to hear it. How he handled it, he got her to get away from that spirit, whatever he was doing, and got her to go to the light. And people were crying afterwards, and
their energy was shielding her, so he could do his. It was. I wasn't going in the room. Once I seen the light on, like Rich said, I'm like, no.
Well, and that's why a lot of times in a team we like to have a good ratio of female-male investigators, because sometimes if we're dealing with a child spirit, they may be scared of the male element, you know. And a lot of times, I remember doing investigations. I'm trying my best to get some type of reply. Nothing. Then I asked like someone else, like Nicole or somebody, come in, and all of a sudden they're getting hits and this and that, and it's just less intimidating. You know, it feels safer. You know, and remember years and years ago, it was very different how we interacted together.
Oh yeah, the family
and
dynamic.
how men raised their children and stuff. Now compared to nowadays, so it was so different. So we actually have a couple of
Before
audio
we get
clips.
onto that,
Did you
we
read
got
the
a
comments?
couple of comments here we probably should address.
Sure.
Somebody said they saw a golf ball size orb fly behind your head as you were talking. And Vicky asked if we were shining a flashlight behind the curtain. Yes, that was Todd walking behind the curtain. He had his flashlight on, his phone on. So that was not an orb you saw. That was just a flashlight.
Thank God.
And then we also have Danie made a comment, said a gathering of women is great until you meet a man spirit who doesn't like women.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are going to the event this Friday or want to go to the event this Friday, you actually might get a touch of that in their home.
Yeah. That's the other side of it. So
Yeah.
You have anything to scare these people? You got
Yeah,
any
we
of
got
these
some
creepy
stuff.
kids?
Yeah, we got some stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So which one is that banquet room? Is that
Mess them up for life, Kevin. Mess them up for life.
Yeah, I believe it's the banquet room.
okay? Let's try and see if this one works. Ready?
Yep, let's play this for you.
Is someone in here with us? Can you make yourself known? I'm not turning my flashlight off again.
So if you heard that, there's two female investigators, Nicole and Nicole. Okay, this is when we were with a different group, and the first investigator, the first Nicole, asked a question, and then you can hear the little girl say, "Help" or "Help me." Then you heard the other girl respond afterwards, the other investigator, about not turning her flashlight off. So it's right in between there. That was at the Hulbert House. So play that again, Kevin. Yeah.
Is someone in here with us? Can you make yourself known? I'm not turning my flashlight off again.
That's cool.
Yeah, very distinct.
Yeah, it's definitely the voice of a young child. I mean, those two girls couldn't. I mean, I couldn't certainly. Help me. No. So that was actually another piece of evidence that helped support the case that there was a child spirit there. And I referred to that child spirit as creepy because when you saw the black silhouette of it walking past the windows and staring in and watching, that was kind of creepy. You know, it was kind of like a peeping Tom spirit. So
She was everywhere in there.
we have what other ones do we have,
We
Kevin?
have one says, well, the file name is copy of 96 kid 339.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's Sandy's.
Okay, so this is one you caught.
Yes, I'd gone down. You guys were investigating upstairs, which you can hear talking in the background. I snuck downstairs to get a chocolate chip cookie. And I felt something, and I still had the recorder in my hand, so I asked if there were any children there, which there aren't because it was an older grandmotherly lady. There was no kids there. But she makes the best damn chocolate chip cookie I've ever had. So, like, perfect opportunity to have to go to the bathroom, but I believe that's that clip.
Okay.
We could try that. Jack did ask. He said, did she say no or hello? We believe she said hello in that last video or audio. But, okay, here's the copy of the kid.
Is there a little kid that's here?
Ugh.
That's somehow we channeled the Gerber baby. I don't know where that came
Now,
from.
did you hear that with your ears?
Nope. I would have been in the car waiting for you.
So
The cookies.
We'll play that again. I'll cut it down so you can not be there as long.
Is there a little kid that's here?
yeah, I agree with you. If I heard that in my ear, I'd be in the car.
That was a good house. We know there was a kid there. He pushed her. He pushed me. Well,
Yeah, through the Valentine Day card to me. And remember,
Slap
we
that
were
out of your
sitting.
hand,
It was we believe it was a boy walked right in front of the door, and just stopped for a second and continued on. It goosed Pete. We had that on camera. Someone grabbed his pant leg and pulled on it, and he kicked.
You know, Alabaster and Ash, we had my SLS camera, and something was.
They like my ass. I don't know what to tell you.
But
My ash. I'm sorry.
But when we got done with that investigation, I told Pete, I said, "Oh crap, I forgot my phone charger." Everybody's outside, including the homeowner and the dog, and so I go into the kitchen. I'm looking around, and of course, I grabbed my phone charger. I saw those chocolate chip cookies. So as I walked towards the cookies, I had vision of looking down the hallway to the front of the house, and I saw something go whoosh, like this, like just so fast, like a ball of something. Then she had a beautiful wooden staircase going up to the second floor.
and it was just like it sounded like a young child just running up the stairs too fast. You'd yell at, "Stop, slow down, you're going to fall," that kind of thing. Just boom, boom, pounding the steps. And then it ran down the hallway, which is above my head, and just every door, one after another, boom, 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 6 doors slammed, one after another. And even the light fixture started to like shake a little bit. They were slamming so hard. And I was like froze. I'm like, oh. So I wouldn't even like turn my back. I kind of walked backwards, and I went back outside, and I go, Pete, and he's talking. He's like, what? I go, dude, and I explained to him what happened. So he went in to take a look, went upstairs, and he came and said, yeah, all the doors are closed. All her doors were open when we left. She keeps them open. She puts like little antique things in front of them because they're old doors. They're not completely level, so you put something in there so they don't close or blow closed. All those things were in the hallway, and the doors were all closed.
So our viewers have to understand. I mean, we're not talking like your average, someone invites you in their house, have a cookie. It's like, okay, they're all right. Okay, yeah. You're smiling. You got 1 in the jacket pocket, 3 in the pants. You got 4 here. It's like, I got to have a couple driving home so I can detox. Like, ooh, these are good cookies. So I told Rich I went in to look at the stuff, which I did, but I grabbed a couple cookies before I went upstairs.
It really is. That's the reason why there's no real paranormal investigators that are skinny. We don't get paid for doing what we do, but we get paid for doing what we do.
So was anything in the house? Yes, you have a demon. We need to come back each week.
There was, but we ate it all. It's gone.
Here's our dietary requirements for the next month.
And you're out of toilet paper in there.
Fluine gone? Yes. Yeah, make sure there's like garlic butter on the top of it. I enjoy that. With a nice German chocolate cake to wash it down. So,
which I'm sorry about, Danie. I didn't know that wasn't for everyone.
We also have...
There's one more clip here. This was from our live investigation at the Rucker Mansion.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Our Halloween.
Yep.
Rucker is another place where we had a lot of child spirits that we dealt with, especially Mansion 3 lately. For myself, at least. We had that one where we were sitting in the second floor, and we had, I would perceive it as a child. It seemed like they were crawling out from the room, and you could just watch it. It was like a little black mass that kind of was getting curious.
Army crawl. Army crawl.
It really was. It felt like it was Army crawling out the door to us, and then just went away.
Dude, he's telling you, oh my God, creepy abandoned nursing home, beds, buttons. Yeah. But the real house is the one it's just a mansion.
But, all right, so this last one that we have here is from, I believe this is inside Mansion 1.
This was Halloween?
What's that?
Was this Halloween, this past?
Yep. This is the live investigation, and here we go.
You don't want to follow us anymore?
Did you just say something? I heard somebody say, "Come here." Play that one again.
You don't want to follow us anymore?
Did you just say something? I heard somebody say, "Come here." I heard the "come here," like the whisper. And it also before that, it sounded like a kid talking way off in the background.
Yeah, way in the distance, yeah.
You mean you can also hear it's like I can't even make out what they're saying. It's almost like they're yelling down the stairwell. It's like a nah, nah, nah.
Yeah, but you saw the "come here."
Yeah.
Play that again. I didn't even hear the "come here" the first time I listened to it.
You don't want to follow us anymore?
Did you just say something? I heard somebody say, "Come here."
Yeah, there's 3 voices. There's that really soft whisper of a come here. In the background, there's a na na kind of sound like some kid yelling down, and then after that, you hear another whisper.
Yeah, the "come here," "come here" was sort of disturbing.
Yeah.
That was. So I mean, even when you don't think you got something, you get something. That's the one thing, and I often wonder how many hours of audio stuff have I not gone through that I might have something on there. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a long time. People need to understand. If you go to investigation and you say there for 4 hours, okay, and you recorded this, you got to sit in a room for 4 hours, not just like at your desk, like playing it as you're like working, or gaming or something, you got to have headphones on. You got to sit there and no other distractions, just listening, because a lot of times the stuff you get is faint.
For every piece of equipment you have, also, if you have 4 different things you're recording with, it's 4 hours for every piece of equipment you have.
Exactly.
Well, I think my favorite part about that live investigation was, I mean, doing a show is a little bit different from doing an investigation. I mean, we were basically just trying to put on good entertainment for our viewers. And if our viewers go back and watch this live show from not this past Halloween, but the Halloween before, I mean, go back on Disruption Network, Agent Paranormal, on Facebook, I believe it's on YouTube. Go back and watch the episode. We caught at least 3 pieces of evidence on that live feed in which we weren't really even trying. And it was just pure happenstance that we actually caught it on video while doing a live feed.
And I think that was, and we aired that on Twitch, right?
Yep.
A couple hours before another radio station announced that they were doing the first ghost hunt. First ever live ghost hunt on Twitch. Meanwhile, we were like 2 hours into it already. Oh, happy discoveries. Yep. That was funny.
Somebody get some burn cream.
I remember seeing that. They just announced they're doing the first ever live ghost hunt on Twitch.
Already been
I'm like,
there.
We're almost halfway through. Oh, man, I tell you. It was fun. I hope we do one of these every single year. I mean, we've talked about it as a group, and, I mean, Todd has got the gear to do it. I mean, the guy's like builds like streaming platforms, so he's got the gear to do it. So we want to do some more of these live. They're more. I think they're more fun live when people can attend it and watch it and be there with us and hear the things. And people are like, "Oh, not much happened." Well, that clip right there, you hear children talking, you can't understand it. Then somebody say, "Come here." For what? You know, sometimes like I listen to it, I'm like, that was creepy. Come here. Why? What's going to happen to me if I come here? You know? So
there were a few different children things there. Didn't you have the picture of the child in the doorway?
Yes. It was more like a the picture of the gentleman in the top corner looked normal, but then the 2 other faces looked more like twisted and darker, like more like, I don't know, like monstrous or something. It's just hard to explain. I'll show you if Trevor's ever show you the picture, but they don't look like normal human beings, but they resemble humans. So there's something weird about that. I'm looking at it like that's I don't know. I can't explain it.
And there's a time me and Rich went in and we did like a teaser funny reel, a 10-minute video. And Candy, we brought her 2 young cousins. They were 7 and 10 at the time. And we were having them act like ghosts for our spoof. But the problem was, like, when we were recording, like, there were things standing in the doorway over here. The K2 meters were going off near them. We're like, oh, God. Like, they think they're, like, acting here. We're like, whatever's going on's happening right around. And then, you know, us, please touch one of them. Please touch one of them.
We just got
it's going to be gold.
We just got an interesting comment in from Vicky Saunders. About an experience she had. I saw a little girl in my old duplex right before I moved. It's crazy when it happens. You questioned did I see it, but I did. I thought it was my daughter. I called to her many times to come get in bed. She turned to me, and I realized it wasn't, and then she exploded into orbs across my bed. I lost my breath, and I seldom tell people because they never believe it.
Look who you're talking to here.
Yeah. Then she said, when I first moved in, I asked my daughter who she was talking to, and she said the little girl. My babysitters always asked if we had a ghost. LOL.
Yeah, well, when you have that kind of stuff to collaborate with what you experience, just gives it a little bit more, proof.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if all paranormal investigators believe in the paranormal, but I think that comes along based on your experience. I mean, I do. And I was a huge skeptic when I started. That's why I became a paranormal investigator. I wanted to learn how to, and I wanted to experience it. Then not only once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 times, but after all those times, and it's like, you're like, God, all right, well, there's something there. How can it not? Especially when you, some of the experiences I had with Pete, and I say, Pete, what did you see? And he would explain it, and I'm like, that's exactly what I saw. You know, instead of me blurting it out and him, I want to know what he saw first. And so that's, I don't know what it is. It's not normal, so therefore, hence, it's paranormal, right?
And in continuation with her, this question, not creepy kids per se, but kids create a lot of creepy things. From our old group, the old case files, we've had some, we can't talk about them because they're private cases, but were things that happened around children that children would manifest or things that would be attracted. Again, goes back to what you're saying with the black eye. What is, they're capable of attracting and manifesting stuff. And we've encountered that.
Right.
Yeah.
So like something being brought into your house and exploding into orbs. I mean, we've had similar things, but again, I can't go into details because those were
Right.
I don't want us talking about that stuff, and I understand it. And there was like the case in Floyd. I mean, it's some of the greatest evidence we've ever captured. I can't play it for anyone. I mean,
well,
and those were full sentence EVPs.
Yeah, that was actually
not like yes, no, like these were full sentence EVPs.
Yeah, there's been some pretty cool stuff that we've captured, and I'm hoping we get a lot more stuff along the way. So that's pretty much everything, guys, that I had on Creepy Kids. That's what that's for, right?
Well, we got this over and done with.
Yeah, we got it over and done with.
We didn't drive home yet.
We got through some tech problems. We got some sickness. We got through some other stuff, but we finally did it. So kudos to everyone. So thank you, everybody, for joining in our show tonight, listening in. And I'm going to get on my phone here in a few minutes to see what the Bills are doing.
As soon as we open that door, there's going to be two black-eyed kids standing there.
Yeah,
let us in.
Yeah, I'll stay here tonight in the studio, based with the crucifix and.
His name's Petey. Likes chocolate chip cookies.
We got a toilet. I'm good.
Again, huge thank you for Disruption Network for letting us back in.
Yeah, I wasn't sure they liked us anymore. They're like, you guys suck. Keep canceling. You suck. But yeah, so thank you, everybody. If you want to follow us, go to Agent Paranormal on Facebook. It's the best way to reach out to us. Make sure you stay in touch with us because we got events that we're working on. We got a couple more in the mill right now that we're looking at. Hopefully, the COVID things loosens up a little bit more. We can get back to life and doing what we like to do. And if you need any help, you can reach out to us on the Facebook page, and we'll respond back to you promptly. If you have any kind of paranormal concerns or things are going bump in the night that you don't know how to explain. And join us for our next episode. I promise we'll be back. We'll be back. That's a threat.
We got some guests that are really itching to come on. We got some good, fun guests that are itching to come on. So.
Well, we're not fun. What are you trying to say, Kevin?
Oh, it's going to be a pizza party riot.
Well, no, I mean, it's going to be a lot of laughs, hopefully.
Because a paranormal something to laugh about, right? So thank you, guys. Thank you for coming tonight, watching our show. Everyone be safe.
On time. We're almost on time.
Everyone be safe and have an excellent night. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Peace.